Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a young man named Tenzin. Tenzin was known far and wide for his boundless optimism and unwavering hope. He was a devout Buddhist who believed that life's challenges were like the morning mist, fleeting and impermanent. Tenzin's unwavering faith in the teachings of Buddha was not just a part of his life, it was the essence of his being. Tenzin lived a simple life in the village. He worked as a farmer, tilling the earth and sowing seeds with a heart full of gratitude for each harvest. His neighbors often marveled at his cheerful demeanor, even in the face of adversity. One summer morning, as the golden sun kissed the mountains and birds sang melodious tunes, Tenzin set out for the market in the nearby town. He had a basket full of ripe fruits and vegetables that he hoped to sell, for he knew that his modest earnings would help feed the hungry mouths in his village. As Tenzin made his way to the market, he couldn't help but notice the serene beauty of nature surrounding him. The swaying trees whispered ancient secrets, and the babbling brooks carried the wisdom of the ages. Tenzin felt a deep connection to the world around him, a connection that only grew stronger with each passing day. However, on this particular day, fate had a different plan in store for Tenzin. As he reached the market, he found a commotion unlike any other. A devastating fire had broken out, consuming several market stalls and leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. The flames danced menacingly, and the acrid smoke filled the air, choking the cries of despair that echoed through the market. Tenzin watched in horror as his basket of fruits and vegetables, the source of his livelihood, succumbed to the inferno. The flames mercilessly devoured his hard work, leaving nothing but ashes and despair. The other vendors were equally distraught, their livelihoods reduced to cinders. In that moment, anyone else might have crumbled under the weight of such a loss, but not Tenzin. He stood there, his face serene, as he watched the flames devour his belongings. The villagers were puzzled by his reaction, unable to comprehend how he could remain so calm in the face of such devastation. A wise old monk who happened to be passing by noticed Tenzin's composure. He approached him and asked, "Young man, why do you not weep for your losses? Are you not devastated by this calamity?" Tenzin smiled gently and replied, "Venerable monk, I do feel the pain of this loss, but I also understand that everything in life is impermanent. Just as the flames consume my possessions, they will eventually extinguish themselves. This is the nature of our world. The only thing that endures is the spirit within us." The monk nodded in appreciation of Tenzin's wisdom. He recognized the young man's deep understanding of Buddhist teachings and saw an opportunity to impart a valuable lesson. He said, "Tenzin, your attitude is a testament to your faith and resilience. However, it is not enough to accept the impermanence of things. We must also learn to find hope and purpose even in the face of adversity. Let me share a story with you, a story that may help you navigate the challenges that life presents." Tenzin eagerly nodded, and the monk began his tale. Many years ago, in a distant village, there lived a kind and gentle man named Kolden. He was renowned for his compassion and willingness to help others regardless of the circumstances. Kolden's heart was a wellspring of love, and his actions reflected his unwavering commitment to the welfare of his fellow villagers. One fateful day, a terrible drought befell the village. The once fertile fields turned to dust, and the streams that had quenched the thirst of the land for generations ran dry. The villagers faced a dire predicament. Their crops withered, and their food stores dwindled to nothing. Despite the grim situation, Kolden remained undeterred. He knew that giving up was not an option. With hope in his heart and a determination to find a solution, he set out on a journey to seek the advice of a revered sage who lived atop a nearby mountain. The path to the sage's abode was treacherous, winding through dense forests and rocky terrain. Yet Kolden pressed on, fueled by his faith and purpose. After days of arduous travel, he finally reached the sage's hermitage, a humble dwelling surrounded by lush greenery. The sage, an old man with a long white beard, welcomed Calden with a warm smile. He listened intently as Calden explained the plight of his village and the devastation wrought by the drought. After a thoughtful pause, the sage spoke. "My dear child, I understand the suffering your village endures. But remember, suffering is an integral part of life, just as joy is. It is through our trials that we discover our inner strength and wisdom." Calden nodded, his eyes filled with hope. He knew that the sage held the key to a solution. The sage continued, "I will give you a seed, a special seed. Plant it in the heart of your village and water it with love and compassion. This seed is imbued with the power to bring forth a tree of hope, a tree that will provide shade and sustenance even in the harshest of times." Grateful for the sage's guidance, Calden accepted the seed and began his journey back to the village. The return trip was just as challenging as the outbound one, but Calden's heart was light, for he carried with him the hope of a brighter future. When Calden reached the village, he gathered the villagers and told them about the sage's instructions. Together, they planted the seed in the village square, nurturing it with their care and kindness. They watered it with the tears of their suffering and the smiles of their resilience. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months, yet nothing seemed to sprout from the soil. Doubt and despair began to creep into the villagers' hearts. They questioned the wisdom of the sage and the purpose of their efforts. But Calden, unwavering in his belief, continued to care for the soil where the seed was planted. He knew that hope, like a fragile sapling, needed time to take root and grow. And then, one morning, as the first rays of dawn painted the sky in hues of gold, a small green shoot emerged from the earth. The villagers gathered around in awe as the shoot grew into a young sapling, its leaves shimmering with the promise of a better tomorrow. It was a tree of hope, just as the sage had foretold. The tree flourished, providing shelter and sustenance to the villagers even as the drought continued to ravage the land. Years passed, and the village not only survived but thrived. The tree of hope had grown tall and strong, its branches reaching out to touch the heavens. The drought eventually ended, but the tree's presence remained a symbol of resilience and the enduring power of hope. Calden, who had planted the seed of hope, had become an elder in the village. He had aged gracefully, his heart still filled with love and compassion. One day, a young traveller passing through the village noticed the magnificent tree and approached Calden, inquiring about its origins. Calden shared the story of the sage and the seed, of the villagers' unwavering hope and resilience. The traveller listened with rapt attention and was deeply moved by the tale. He asked Calden, "What can I do to cultivate hope in my own life and the lives of others?" Calden smiled and replied, "Hope, my friend, is like the tree we see before us. It begins as a small seed within your heart, planted with love and nurtured by compassion. Even in the face of adversity, never lose hope, for it is the beacon that guides us through the darkest of nights. Share this hope with others, and together you can weather any storm." As the monk finished the story, Tenzin's eyes glistened with understanding and gratitude. He realized that hope was not a fleeting emotion, but a resilient force that could transform lives and communities. He turned to the monk and said, "Thank you for sharing this beautiful story with me, venerable monk. I now understand that hope is not just about accepting impermanence. It's about nurturing the seeds of hope within our hearts and sharing them with others." The monk nodded in approval and continued, "Tenzin, remember that the challenges you face in life are like the drought that befell Calden's village. They may seem insurmountable at times, but if you hold on to hope and act with compassion, you can overcome them. Your unwavering faith in the teachings of Buddha will be your guiding light." Tenzin thanked the monk for his wisdom and returned to his village with a renewed sense of purpose. He shared the story of Calden and the Tree of Hope with his fellow villagers, inspiring them to face life's challenges with courage and resilience. Years passed, and Tenzin's village continued to thrive, not just because of their bountiful harvests, but because of the abundance of hope and compassion that flowed through their hearts. Tenzin's unwavering optimism and deep faith in the teachings of Buddha became a source of inspiration for all who knew him. And so, the story of Tenzin, the optimistic farmer, and the tale of Kalden, the man who planted the tree of hope, became intertwined, creating a legacy of resilience and faith that would endure for generations to come. In the end, the message was clear. You will never lose hope in your life as long as you hold on to the seeds of hope within your heart and share them with others, for hope, like the tree of hope, can weather even the harshest of storms and illuminate the darkest of paths.